It's Kevin Kietzman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kansas City, and welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. 95.7 FM. I'm Kevin Kietzman. It's great to be with you again as we're bracing for blizzard conditions. I'm not convinced. I'm sorry. I'm unconvinced. Maybe we'll look that way for a while. I'm already in spring mode. I was almost like total white trash yesterday afternoon. I was out in my backyard taking my dog out to do his business. I had wrinkled little shorts on and a T-shirt that had been wadded up in a drawer for months, and I didn't care. It was gorgeous outside. I'm ready for spring mode. Let's do this thing. Whatever this is today shall pass. Be careful. This
morning, it was 65 degrees when I walked out the door.
I know. I think it was 61 on my car thermometer driving in. Yeah, okay, we might see some snow fall out of the clouds, but I'm done with it. I've actually unplugged the batteries to the snowblower, put it away. It's not happening. Not in my world. I'll hole up inside if there's snow. I'm not going out and shoveling or doing anything else again this year. Promises. Hey, we got a fun show lined up for you today. We got a lot of great topics, including, do you remember the young lady that ran for Secretary of State in Missouri, Valentina Gomez, that did all the wild videos with foul language and offensive statements, and she's a Republican, and she's Marjorie Taylor Greene on steroids? She's had something incredible happen to her, and she has future plans. We'll discuss that later because I don't know what's going to happen with her, but she does not appear to be going away in any way, shape, or form. We'll talk briefly about the JFK files a little bit later. We spent a great deal of time on that yesterday, and to this point, what the deputy press secretary said yesterday is not proving to be true. It has not been shocking at this point. We've got the latest from Dan Bongino, who had a great post today in his third day with the FBI, formerly the host here on KCMO Talk Radio, syndicated host. And we'll talk a little sports and college basketball with Mark at the end because the tournament is on, and it already started last night, but KU and MU play tomorrow. We will start with the historic times we live in. I thought the JFK files were a big deal, but then they took the back seat to everything that happened yesterday. And the most interesting thing, not the most important thing probably, but the most interesting thing that happened yesterday was the return of the astronauts from space. They'd been up there 9 months. I did a whole podcast on this today, and I'm not going to go off on this tangent because I already did it at the podcast site. The missing headline here is one of the most despicable things ever is that your president, your administration, Joe Biden and his people, for months kept those astronauts trapped in space because they didn't want Elon Musk to get a win bringing them home while supporting Donald Trump for president. That's a fact. That's the worst possible thing you could do. Put yourself in a situation where you travel to a foreign land. Let's say you go on vacation. You go to the Dominican or Mexico or wherever. You're going on vacation. And you're a known Republican, or worse, you're a podcaster and a radio host. And you make some little slip up or something. Or say something, have a couple of beers and say something wrong to a cop on the street. And all of a sudden you're in cuffs and there you go to jail. It appears that the Democrats will not bring you home. If you won't bring astronauts home that are stuck in space over politics, what are they going to do for you and I? This might be the single worst blemish on Biden. I go into great detail of this on the podcast today, and I don't want to go there today, but I do want to talk about the glorious sight of these people coming home, how beautiful it was. There were no waves on the ocean. The dolphins were swimming around. The whole thing was great. It was perfect. On a day where the lead stories had been burning Teslas in Kansas City, in Las Vegas, and legacy media out there celebrating, jumping up and down, that people are so upset with the Republicans and Trump and Elon that they're taking action. This is a political statement. This is free speech. No, it's not. When you set something on fire, that's no longer free speech, and it may be a political statement, but it's terribly against the law, and you should be locked up and treated as a terrorist that you are. There is no comparison between Molotov cocktails thrown at car dealerships and Teslas and somebody who walked in on J6 with an American flag through the front gates of the Capitol building and walked out. There's no comparison between those people. Don't even draw that comparison. There's not. It doesn't exist. So this is all going on, and I'm at my mom's, as I said on yesterday's show. I was going to go watch the JFK release with her, and it just wasn't happening. And I said, well, the astronauts are coming down, Mom. I think it's going to be tomorrow. They're not going to do this until this mission is over because the whole world is watching. And I said, I'm going to head home. And I knew that the splashdown was about 30 minutes away. It's about a 17-minute drive from my mom's to my house. So I turned the radio on, and I'm flipping around. And I'm wondering, okay, is anybody like covering the splashdown? What's everybody talking about? And I get on this KMBZ 98.1. And you're going to learn about this show. I'm just going to tell you the truth every day, or things that are on my mind. And I may get in trouble here at Cumulus. I don't know, for talking about other radio stations. I'm not sure. I haven't worked here that long. I don't know. I'm going to do it my way until I get in so much trouble that, whatever. I don't think I'm going to get in trouble. But anyway, I'm listening to these people, and I know that, and I've met them both. And they're nice enough people. I've met Scott and I've met Dana on 98.1. They do an afternoon show. They clearly over there know what they're doing because they have high ratings and a lot of listeners. It is the most fake, embarrassing radio I've ever heard. And yesterday, while I don't listen a lot, might have been the apex of fake. When you heard the term fake news from Donald Trump, I'll use the term fake radio. If fake radio works, radio's in trouble. Radio, this medium, was built on taking chances. From the early beginnings to things like War of the Worlds that scared the hell out of everybody, taking chances, to late-night DJs who played songs they knew their bosses said you can't play because they're about sex. But they played them, and they risked their jobs, and they got in trouble because real life people were having sex. And radio decided we're not going to be the medium that covers up real life. Television was over there with the Dick Van Dyke Show where, Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore slept in separate beds on the show. Like that was television. Radio, pushing the envelope. Here comes Elvis. He's shaking his hips. Oh, my God. The preachers would say, we can't see that. Look at what he's thrusting and doing. What's going on? And they're playing his music on the radio. Oh, my God. Well, where the envelope is pushed now is on the internet, on podcasts, places like that. For me, much of that content is too far. It's no longer entertaining. It's just too many F words. It's too much for my tastes. But it's real. It's people doing honest things, being themselves. If radio ceases to do that, radio has a problem. And I'm listening to this show, and their topic was the burning Teslas in Kansas City. And 6 times in a segment and a half on my way home, they said, we don't want to get political. The hell you don't. Yes, you do. Or you wouldn't be talking about the topic. It's a political topic. If you don't want to get political, leave the topic out of your show. Dana, who is a far left loon leftist, I'm not talking politics, but Elon Musk is an idiot and a racist, she says. But I'm not getting political. Yes, you are. Just come out. Come out of the closet, people. Be who you are. You've been at it a long time. You've had a successful run. You got a big signal. You're on FM. A lot of people listen. A guy calls up and he says, I'm conservative. And goes on, I get Tesla, and they're talking about Teslas. And I'm thinking, my God, we need that listener over here. Don't listen to this. They're fake. They're fake. Those people are political too. And then the host, I don't know why her name is first in the show name, but the host of the show, he starts saying, we're so polarized. We need to all just get along. No. Conservatives did that forever. And we lost. We were losing our country. Barack Obama took it right away from us. He drove a wedge between the American people. He didn't do it with politics. He did it with race. And all in the name of race, he did all the political stuff he wanted to do to change this country fundamentally from what it was built to be, what it was set up to be. And we learned to fight back. And the main reason most people that are conservative learn to fight back is because Donald J. Trump came down the escalator. It certainly wasn't John McCain or Mitt Romney or George W. Bush. It wasn't those people. It wasn't a local Republican. It wasn't your councilman. It wasn't a mayor anywhere in our community. It wasn't anybody like that. It was Trump. And in the beginning, if you remember, people wouldn't wear the hats. They didn't want to be identified as MAGA. We were all scared. We're on eggshells. Oh, now the country's polarized because we decided to fight back and we learned the game that you played, and now we play it better and we're in charge. And the country supports conservatism again. Now we're polarized? You people, at least be honest. On radio, for God's sake, this medium was built on this. Just be honest. If people on the left can't stand me, that's okay. I'm being honest every day. If nobody wants to ever listen to the show and I get fired tomorrow, okay, it happened. At least I did it my way. It was honest. It was real. The number of people that try to fake it through life in America has got to be reduced dramatically. We actually need to get to zero. Faking it is not an option. This is why podcasts have gained so much popularity. They're real. They're honest. Even on the left, they're real and honest. Are we really going to keep listening to a radio show in Kansas City where they lie to you every day and say, we don't want to be polarizing. We don't want to be political. You are so political, Dana Wright. It is insane. Get off it. You're literally on the air calling Elon Musk, the smartest guy or most successful person on the planet, an idiot. And you don't want to be political? Good Lord, I know your bosses have told you don't be political. Tell them to go shove it. You guys got the ratings. You got people listening. Be yourself. Be real. Be true to this medium. And I know I'm on a tangent here about this medium, but it's bigger than that. It's all media. It's the news we've been consuming. It's the term fake news, and it's why it's resonated with so many people. We know what's fake. When you hear someone, we talked about this at great length yesterday. When you hear somebody say over and over they want to be transparent, they're lying to you. That means they're hiding something. When you hear radio hosts saying, we don't want to be political, they want to be political. Sports guys do this all the time. Not to get into politics, but this kneeling thing, they've got a point here. George Floyd, they've got a point here. No, you want to be political. Do it. Let's have this discussion as a country. Let's let 350 million people decide which side they're on. I know which way this will go, and they know which way it will go too. And that's why in a lot of these radio stations, you can always smell a liberal. I don't want to be political, but we're so polarized that liberal. Scared of your job, listening to your boss, whatever. Don't do it. Please respect the job, whether it's radio, television, podcasting, an internet site, writing, posting on social media, whatever. Be honest. Be real. This is the new era. This is the new free speech in America. Everybody's coming out as honest. You can call it polarizing if you want, but it's only polarizing from your point of view. When Americans are open and honest, what we're going to find out is about 70% of them lean right. They've been told they can't lean right and they can't vote right because it makes them a bad person or a racist or a homophobe. It's ending with free speech. This is a center-right country. It always has been. It always will be. And the more free speech we have, and if we could please get some honesty on the other radio shows, the more we have of that, the more America will find its footing again. And we'll be back in full force. 913-408-7957 is the number to call. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Coming up next on Uncanceled. So I had a big boy appointment on Monday here at the radio station with our friends at Best Offer KC. They're awesome people. I met Mark on Monday. And so like Friday in Phoenix before we came home, I went to get my hair cut at a Great Clips. And I knew I was getting butchered. Like while it was happening, I knew it was a train wreck. And I didn't know how bad it was yesterday until Mark reposted yesterday's video episode of Uncanceled on X. And I reposted it. And I thought, well, I wonder what this sounds like and looks like. So I played it for a couple minutes. I'm like, oh, boy. Yeah, the lady, I'm like, my hair is not that complicated. And if it goes really bad, you can always just take out like the foreguard and buzz the whole thing and start over. But I didn't realize how bad until the live stream, which you can see at KCMO Talk Radio or on the app. There's all kinds of ways to see it on social media. We appreciate you listening any way that you do, whether it's on FM or through your device. Join us every day on KCMO Talk Radio. Here is Jim. I've blown that. Hang on a second. What'd I do wrong? I did it wrong again. Why do I have so much trouble with these phones? Back on hold you go. Here's Jim in Blue Springs. Hello, Jim. Welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Good morning. I'm doing good. Hey, she can't be honest there on 98.1 because once she is, everybody realizes she's a lunatic, and then their station itself will even be damaged by it. So she has to do the line to get her point across.
So
that's all.
I guess what I don't understand, and I know that we have a lot of listeners on this station that listen to that in the afternoon because there's not a local show on here. So I understand that part of this business. Why wouldn't you folks call in and call them out on this stuff? You call this show, let them have it. Why are you guys so dishonest? Why are you afraid to tell us the truth or what's really on your mind? Be honest about all of this. Why? Why? How many times have you listened to them? Well, we don't want to be political. Well, when you say that, it's just like all the liberals who say they want to be transparent. I don't believe you when you say that. I don't. I used to say it. I know. I would say it in sports. I did it for 2 or 3 years. And then I thought, you know what? This is dumb. This is stupid. That's disingenuous. I don't want to do a show about politics when I'm doing a sports show, but I didn't want to avoid a political topic as it applied to sports. So I was being disingenuous, and I figured that out after a couple of years. I shouldn't even be saying that. And that was 15 years ago. But my God, be honest with who you are and what you're doing. It's okay to be you, Dana. Be yourself. We know you're a left-wing lunatic. Be that. Be that on the radio. It will be entertaining as hell. Your ratings might go up. People might tune in to laugh at you. It'll be great. Thank you for the call. I appreciate that. That was nice. I really do. All right. Next up, who we got? I'm so confused with where I am now. Mark is in Shawnee. Hi, Mark. How are you?
Hi, Kevin. That sound you just did, that's how I feel when I get up and turn on the TV or listen to the radio and I hear some of these lunatics talking about Elon Musk. It's that, are you kidding me? I think, where is this country going? You had Mark Kelly talking about Elon Musk selling his Tesla. And this is a guy, he's up in space. He's seen the stratosphere when I was up in space. Give me a break, dude. You know, this clown, he's an astronaut. Good for you. And you would think that's a guy that you want to respect.
Right.
But when the words fall out of his mouth and you think, you've got the Thomas Edison of our time sending a ship up to get your buddies because our government can't figure it out. And he's got cars, he's got electric cars that have just trying to change the world we live in. He's a genius, and you're going to talk trash about him? It's just scary, the world that you want to kill. You want to kill.
You're so on this.
Guy in the world. He's in our country.
You're so on this. You are absolutely so on this. They literally went from mandating us to drive electric vehicles to setting them on fire.
Yes, and they just think about this, Kevin. We have a guy. He's working for free, like Trump, to make America great again.
That's right.
We're finding ways fraud and abuse, and they want to take that and make that evil.
It's an 80% issue. 80-some% of Americans want us to cut the budget. It's ridiculous to even argue against Elon Musk. It's insane. And then you put yourself in a position where you're calling him an idiot and basically condoning people who are burning cars on a day where he brings the astronauts back and we learn the worst thing we've ever heard, okay? And this is the important thing about Democrats. They really only care about one thing. They care about elections. That's it. They care about winning and gaining control of something. That's totally their game. And how do we know this? We've seen it a million times. We've never seen it like these astronauts. In a nutshell, Biden didn't bring them down because it was going to be bad for Democrats in the election. That was his decision. We're going to leave them in space because it's bad for Democrats in the election. That's just awful. That should absolutely be a crime. It's just terrible. These people it's unbelievable. And they say, we're polarized now because no. It's one side that has caused this. There is no question where this all started. We're just the people that are coming to circle back and finish it. We're back on KCMO Talk Radio coming up in just moments. Valentina Gomez will talk about her future. Remember she ran for Secretary of State? She was in Missouri. The Marjorie Taylor Greene on steroids in Missouri politics has a new game and a new shot in the arm. We'll explain that coming up in just a couple of moments. Right now, it's John in Overland Park chiming in on Uncanceled. Good morning, John.
Hey, Kevin. Good morning. I've listened to that show before as well, Dana Parks, and I don't know, that gal, she's a little bit of a wackadoodle. And I met her once years ago when she was a sports reporter, actually, covering the Final Four, and she seemed nice enough. But that was when she was still on TV. But man, they just, they get people going on these topics that are just so irrelevant and, they just go way out of bounds.
I call her Elaine because that show is Seinfeld. It's about nothing. The show's about nothing. He's Jerry, she's Elaine, and that's basically what it is. It's the show about nothing. And then when they finally get into something like setting Teslas on fire in Kansas City, which is a real crime, we don't want to get political. And it's like, but Elon's an idiot. He's this and that. And she drives a Tesla. Oh, my God. The hypocrisy of the whole thing was insane. It was just awful.
When there's anything somewhat controversial, like that guy that got shot by the kid that got shot. They will take the left view. Boy ended the door and then got shot by that old man who was scared. They will take the left-leaning view every single time.
Okay.
And not even consider both sides.
Great.
So,
perfect.
yeah.
Do that and be that, but embrace that, and don't lie to people and say you don't want to get it political and you don't care. Be that show. And if you listen to this radio station and that radio station, call them and call them out and say, why are you afraid of the truth? Why are you afraid of just being yourself? I don't even understand. Is the whole thing fake? Is this entire radio show fake? Because if you can't be honest about who you are, how can I trust anything that you say? They were literally talking about
the Family Feud.
They got on. They tried to move away from this immediately. So, like the program director, somebody must have busted and said, "Get off this Elon Musk thing." They started talking about bras on the front end of cars and spoilers on the back. They literally transitioned from Elon Musk is an idiot, cars are on fire, to talking about bras on the front of cars. I'm like, what is this?
Well, I'm glad you called her out on it. Anyway, that's my point of view. Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate the call. It's maddening. Mobilize, KCMO Talk Radio listeners. Call them. Call them out. Ask them, why can't you be yourself? Your bosses make you? Is this a personal choice? Tell us the truth. Why can't you be who you are on this show? And why should I listen to a show where you're not allowed to be yourself? That's the bigger question. Why should I consume in 2025 in the United States of America with a president like Donald Trump and free speech warriors like Elon Musk and J.D. Vance and all of the people that are showing us the way? Why should I consume anything that isn't honest? That's a real question to ask yourself. And sometimes it's entertaining. You can turn on CNN and watch somebody wacky on there and be entertained by it. But at least that person's being themselves. You know they're a hardened leftist. And if you find that entertaining, watch it. You should not consume anything ever that isn't honest. I'll say this about Valentina Gomez. She's honest. She's honest to a fault where it's probably a negative for the Republican Party. She ran for Secretary of State in the state of Missouri, and she lost. She is a former swimmer at the University of Tulane. She's only 25 years old, and her videos are R-rated, more than R-rated. Language, homophobic slurs, you name it, she does it. If you've thought it, she says it out loud. She's that person. So we're going to credit her today for being a free speech warrior. It would be hard for me to vote for her because she's over the top. And I think she just probably brings trouble to her party that the party doesn't need. Like if you think Trump says stuff, this woman is wild. She was on the station a couple times before I was here during the election. I think she was on with Pete, and she made some appearances. She put out a post yesterday about El Salvador and what they've done in El Salvador. And she posted on X, we need to do like they've done in El Salvador, and that is impeach judges, lock up criminals, and investigate politicians. Okay, for her, that's really mild. And Elon Musk retweeted it, reposted it with the caption, "It is the only way." And 26 million people have viewed her post now. My sense is Valentina Gomez has a giant shot of adrenaline in the arm from Elon Musk. And if you do a deeper dive on her, seems she's moved to Texas, where she's originally from. And she's going to run for Congress in the 31st district in Texas, which is the suburbs of Austin. Austin is liberal. The areas around Austin are not. District 31 is one of only 2 districts in the state of Texas that has never elected a Democrat. Never. Their congressman, John Carter, is 83 years old. So I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing he's retiring. She's cherry-picked this district and moved there. She's going to run her game. It's 24% Hispanic vote for Valentina Gomez. She's going to get crossovers from Hispanic voters. I think she's going to be hard to beat there. I think she's figured it out at age 25. Where do I need to go to get elected and be a bomb thrower, which is what she is. She is a political bomb thrower. And she lost in Missouri, but she caught everybody's attention. Her latest video is with a gun underwater. She's holding her breath, and she's locking and loading her gun and showing, and she's like, I'm the baddest person on the planet or something like that. She's out there. If you haven't checked her out, I think you're going to know her name. My guess is she'd be a huge favorite to win that seat if it's open, if the incumbent is not running. Her name is Valentina Gomez. She is, if you think Marjorie Taylor Greene is outspoken, multiply that by 10. It's pretty wild. Valentina Gomez is pretty out there for sure. All right, next up is Fred in Overland Park. Good morning, Fred. You're on Uncanceled. What's up in your world?
Yeah, I stopped listening to the radio station a couple years ago, which I actually liked both of them, where they would do what CNN used to do before they went postal. They would be telling a political story and lean it pro-left down, throw some mini discs in there, and towards the right, that way. So now it sounds like from what you've said that they've gotten worse. Where they're clearly flat out coming out and saying
no. I didn't sense that they're flat out liberals and that's what they're doing. My problem with them is that they're not doing that. That they sit there continually and repeat themselves and say, we don't want to be political. And then the dude says, we're so polarized, why can't we all just get along? Well, that's ridiculous. I can tell you why we can't get along. The left did this. You call me a racist and a homophobe for 2 decades, and I'm coming back at you. I'm sick of hearing it. I am not a bad person. I've never hurt anyone in my life. I've paid all my taxes. I don't commit crimes. I've not been arrested. Life is good, okay? And I'm proud of who I am and my family and everything that we stand for. And because we're conservative does not make us bad people, and we're sick of being told that. So we're going to fight back at some point. That's what this is. And now they're like, well, we don't want to get political. No, you don't want to get political. If you're a leftist in Kansas City and you're on radio, you don't want to get political. But know who you're listening to. They're lying to you. When they say they don't want to be political, they're as political as I am. They're just not as honest as I am. Or Pete Mundo. Hell, I'll tell you what else I think. I think what would work in this town, take that show or a show or put one on here. How about co-hosts from both sides? Let's listen to the debates and the arguments. I'm all up for it.
Sounds like fake news light.
Dude, I can't watch Sean Hannity anymore. His interview with Elon Musk last night was unwatchable. He's terrible. It's impossible to watch Sean Hannity interview somebody because all he does is say, I'm friends with the president, and I got a Tesla, and it's the fastest car that I have, and it's faster than my Z06. And then he says, oh, my website. This was all during the Elon Musk interview. I'm like, is this about you or Elon Musk? You've got Elon Musk on, and you're not asking questions. You're talking about you. And it was just driving me absolutely crazy. So it happens everywhere. But when Hannity was on with Sean Combs back in the day, Hannity and Combs, that was a pretty good show. I enjoyed watching that. Just me. Maybe that would work again. I feel like CNN used to do that. There used to be a show called Crossfire where both sides were represented, but nothing you watch now is like that. So I don't know what it would look like now. If it was just 2 people, one on each side, I really don't know what that would look like. And I don't know if you could keep those people apart from fighting and beating each other up, because maybe that would happen too, because that's where we are now. All right, how about this? Let's lighten this thing up a little bit. Let's do some fun polling. This is racist polling, but it's demographic polling. It's about white people, so I can say this. It's okay. NBC News poll just out. They are now polling white men with no degree, white men with a college degree, white women no degree, white women with no degree. This is fascinating. Guess what won't work? A white man with no degree cannot be married to a white woman with a degree. That is never going to work in America. It's decided. It's like gravity. It's there every single day. It's tried and true. If you're a white man with no degree, Trump polls plus 41. If you're a white dude with a degree, Trump is plus 1. If you're a white woman with no degree, he's plus 14. If you're a white woman with a college degree, Trump is minus 38. Stay away, guys. Stay away from the college degree girls. I'm just telling you right now, if you're a young listener, run. Don't do it. Don't marry that girl with a graduate degree. It's going to come back. It's going to be hard. Don't do it. The polling will tell you everything you need to know, guys. It's right there. If America matters to you, if our way of life, if the Constitution, if these things are important to you, be careful. Look, I know people in college that tried to date. I went to K-State, and they had a girlfriend that went to KU. They went to high school together. It didn't last. Like sports broke up relationships. Of course politics will. You've seen the House divided things, the KU, K-State. Missouri and KU fans, there aren't that many lasting marriages. Don't do it. Don't do it. and I'm warning this audience, this particular audience, it's the white women with college degrees. And I'm married to a white woman with a college degree. And she's more conservative than me. And if you gave her a microphone, you don't want to hear the things she'd say. So I busted all odds through on that one. Completely and utterly all the way through. All right, let's have a laugh. Mark, you follow a gentleman on social media. He's a comedian named John Christ. And he put something out that caught both our eyes. And you actually reposted at this last night. Tell me the background here, who he is, and what it is that you posted.
Yeah, he's a Christian comedian, and his brother was a Christian musician for a while. I'm not sure what his parents did, but they're all kind of involved in that Christian community world. And, he just posted this hilarious thing talking about the Christian schools that are in the tournament this year.
Let's hear it.
All right.
Listen, say what you want about Christians, but these people be hooping. Bro, Christians can play basketball. Look at this NCAA tournament bracket. Okay, first you got Liberty and Grand Canyon, the two non-denominationals. Then you got the Catholics, Gonzaga, Creighton, Marquette. They're all in the tournament. This is just our starting five. Coming off the bench, you got the Christian mid-majors, Lipscomb, Wofford, High Point. And, dude, look at these number one seeds. I mean, these are evil programs. I might bet on that, actually, an all-Christian parlay. And you got Baylor in there. Sure, they haven't acted very Christian the last couple of years, but they're Baptist. Passing the ball, passing the offering plate. We've had a lot of practice. Listen to this. St. Francis is in. St. John's is in. St. Mary's is in. Mount St. Mary's is in. St. Xavier is in. This is the Sistine Chapel, bro. This is the whole left wall. We don't do a lot of things right, but we hoop, bro. And then you got BYU. I mean, I don't know as Christians if we accept them or not. I mean, their selection show, they're in the NCAA tournament. I don't know about heaven, but they're, I mean. You want to bet against the Christian schools? I wouldn't do it. Read the story of Noah's Ark. How did that work out for them? Think about it. Working as a team, blocking out the bad guy, assisting your friend. Like, I don't know if you're reading a basketball playbook or the New Testament. We be playing basketball.
Oh, that is great stuff. His name is John Christ. He's a comedian. And let's have some NCAA tournament fun. We'll do a little basketball next with Mark. But do you remember a great athlete from Shawnee Mission South named Rodney Peete, who played in the NFL for 15 years for 6 different teams? He's in the news for something he did in Japan yesterday. You want to hear this next on Uncanceled. All right, let's have a little fun here. First thing, I saw a post this morning from Dan Bongino, who was formerly a staple here at KCMO Talk Radio. He posted this morning on his social media, quote, "It's March 19th. It's a bad day to be a bad guy in America." Yes, indeed it is. I feel like he may post that every day, his entire tenure there. That this may be something that he posts each and every day. Mark Van Sickle turned me on a couple of months ago to something called a whoopie pie. You care to share the story about how we talked about whoopie pies?
Oh, yeah. One of my wife's friends makes them, and we were talking about desserts at Super Bowl parties, and we had the red velvet one. It was very tasty at our party.
I've never had one. I compared it to the oatmeal cream pie, the Little Debbie thing that you buy in the stores. That's similar, right?
Yeah, these are much richer, though.
Much richer and homemade. And so I tried to find some to take to my Super Bowl party, but we couldn't really find a shop that makes them. And I'd not heard of them, but apparently they're really gaining in popularity because now the Royals have a whoopie pie this year. Are you excited for this?
I'm excited. I sent that. You sent me the link yesterday, and I sent it to my wife, and now she's excited about it. So.
It's the blue velvet whoopie pie.
I've never had a blue velvet one.
I'm not sure I know where to go, but the Royals, we need to contact the Royals. They do a thing where they invite the media out to do stories on all the new food that they have. We should go to that.
Yes.
If that's in the afternoon, let's go.
And then we try it.
Yes. We'll post on social. I'll bring them into the studio. We'll put them up in front of the camera, and we'll try the whoopie pie on them.
I like that.
That is a good. I'll drive. I'll drive. So, they're going to have a whoopie pie. They're also, the Royals announced they're going to wear all powder blue uniforms, pants and tops, every Saturday at home. So that's kind of a big deal. The Royals are on television tonight at 8:05. You want to see what the team looks like this year? They're on TV. They're on what's called FanDuel Sports now. It used to be Bally Sports Kansas City. And they're also on MLB Network tonight. So if you want to watch the Royals, you can check that out there. Rodney Peete is from Shawnee Mission South High School in Kansas City. His dad, Willie, was a coach for the Chiefs. He was the greatest high school athlete ever in this town. Like, he was a phenomenon in the early to mid-'80s. Nobody could tackle Rodney Peete. He went on to play quarterback at USC. He got drafted, played for 6 teams, 16 years in the NFL. I mean, this guy was unbelievable. So not a native Kansas City, but most people remember Rodney Peete if you were in Kansas City in the 80s. His pro career, he had 76 touchdowns and 92 interceptions. He was more of a running quarterback, but he made a great career out of this. His cousin, I did not know this until today when I was researching this story. His cousin was the legendary, groundbreaking black golfer, Calvin Peete. It was his cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, Calvin Peete. Tremendous. Should be in the Golf Hall of Fame, and he's not yet, but I think he will be at some point. Rodney Peete apparently was in Japan this week. Do you know why? You know the story probably, don't you?
I have not seen this story.
You've not seen the story. Why was Rodney Peete in Japan?
A fishing tournament?
He's a Dodger fan.
Oh, okay.
And the Dodgers were playing the Cubs. And Rodney Peete went to the games. I think he co-hosts a show with Fred Rogan in L.A. He does some sports radio and whatnot. And he's there at the game, and he's down the third base line, and there's a pop foul. And here we go. Max Muncy's coming over to catch it. Reaches into the seats, and Rodney Peete takes it right away from him. Dodger fans are livid with Rodney Peete.
He took it away from his guy Muncy?
You know what? I watched the replay a few times, and it looked to me like Pete's glove was below Muncy's, like Muncy maybe missed it, and it fell into Pete's glove. Doesn't matter. The Dodgers won anyway. They won both games in the series to start the regular season. These are regular season Major League Baseball games. The Dodgers won both games. But Dodger fans are mad at Rodney Peete, and I think he hosts a show in L.A.
Hopefully they'll get over it. They're going to win another World Series this year.
It's pretty good because Muncy looks back at him like,
come on.
He didn't know it was Rodney Peete, I don't think.
Yeah.
Rodney Pete's, to this day, pretty famous. He had a reality TV show once because he's in L.A. He's based in L.A., and we've long since said goodbye to Rodney Peete. But if you remember the 80s, as a high school player here, he was unreal. Did you see page 6 of the New York Post is crediting Taylor Swift for Travis Kelce coming back?
I did see that.
Yeah. So I think I'm good with this, Mark. If she convinced him that he can't go out that way, do you think she's also telling him to go like on a diet?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe work out a little more?
I think she's going to help him out with this season. I like it.
I think you and I just got together for the first time on Travis and Taylor.
Yep.
Because I really don't care about them as a couple that much. Whatever happens, happens. I hope they're happy. You know, all that stuff. But if he's coming back, I'm hopeful, since she helped talk him into it, that she's saying, you got to be better than you were last year. We'll all take that. The Vince Show is up next on KCMO.